Okay, we are back with our live coverage of the Summit 2025 here in Tempe, Arizona. And I have with me a repeat and favorite guest of mine, Matthew Jarvis from the Perfect RIA, AKA the industry instigator.
Oh, there we go.
Say that 5 times
Yeah,
fast.
yeah. Chuck, thanks for having me back, man. And I really want to thank you for bringing so much awareness to our industry of things that we're not really supposed to talk about, like saying the quiet part out loud, specifically payouts. I feel like we all misunderstand this, and I don't know if it's because we want to misunderstand it or we've just been told it so many times that it becomes the truth. But I just really, sincere gratitude for what you're doing in the industry.
Well, I appreciate that, and honestly, right back at you.
Oh, thank you.
And you do it with great, let's say, clarity.
Clarity is a nice way, yeah.
So for those of you that follow Matthew, you'll know what I mean. For those of you that don't follow Matthew, you should. Because what you say is great content, but you say it with a lot of clarity. And if you read some of his posts, you'll know what I mean by that clarity. There's no mistaking about it.
Yeah, I'm not super politically correct on that stuff, yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
good.
well, and some of it's because people that I respect, even people like you, kind of hit me over the head and you're saying, hey, Matthew, you're not thinking about this the right way. Like, you need to see more of this. And so for so long, I thought, well, this is how I think about it. And you kind of came along and said, dude, you got to understand how this is really working, and it opened my eyes. And so in some ways I'm passing it forward. Like, I do enjoy the instigating, but it's really kind of passing it forward. Like, someone hit me on the side of the head, say, wake up, this is how it works, and I'm just kind of passing that along.
All right, well, I tell you what, that's a great segue.
Yeah, it
We're
is.
talking about one of our favorite topics, TNP, True Net Payout.
Yes.
What does that mean, TNP?
Yeah, so most of us are familiar with the concept of the grid. Like, I got a 97% payout or a 98% payout, or even we talk to RIAs and they say I'm at 100% payout. That's kind of like a meaningless term for me. That what I care about is how much money was taken from the client account on the very top, right? And then how much ended up in my bank account.
Right.
Everything in between, whether that went to the house or to a TAMP or to my own expenses, that's all expenses. It's what did the client pay? What did I get? That's where I want to start. I don't want to start with, well, it's 98% of this plus 2% of that minus 5% of this other thing,
right,
until we get to a number that means nothing.
That is the bottom line.
It
right?
is.
And isn't that what it's all about? So if we wanted to use your phrase, deliver value, deliver tremendous value, what was the name?
Deliver massive value. Deliver massive value was my book. Yeah, Deliver Massive Value. Available on Amazon.
Which I love, absolutely. We want to think in terms of what is the client getting charged, what is going into my bank account. Right?
That's right.
And I do a lot of work, as you know, with InvestmentNews.
Yeah.
I write a lot of articles for them. The article that, without question, that I wrote that gets the most views is the one I wrote about TNP, True Net Payout.
Yeah.
So let's dive into that.
Let's do, yeah.
Where are the bodies buried? So all these advisors, well, let me just start off with a quick question where I already know the answer.
Yeah,
so this
please.
is basically rhetorical. But those advisors, let's talk about the ones at the IBDs.
Sure.
That are getting a 92% payout.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick example. There was an advisor here at the conference I was talking to, and we won't name which BD he was at or IBD he was at, but it's a well-known one, everyone know, and he told me, he says, hey Matthew, I'm at a 92% payout. He was doing $2 million top line revenue, right? So he's got good practice.
Yeah.
Now I knew the group he was with. I said, is that all they charge you? Just those 8 bips? Well, there's a couple other ancillary fees. Okay, I get that, no worries. How much money is the client being charged? And he says, well, hey, the client's being charged $1.50, 150 basis points all in. Okay, well, how much are you getting? And then suddenly the light went off. He said, well, I'm actually getting like 96 basis points. Okay, so you're getting 92% of the number they told you, not the number the client is paying.
Right.
So for him, he thought he was paying like $8,000 a year. He was paying $500,000 a year in override. Now, once we know that TNP, then we can decide is the value there, right? The fee in itself is not bad.
Yes.
Like paying an IBD is not bad, but I've got to know what I'm paying before I can argue, am I getting my money's worth?
I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not to say that a very high payout or low payout, I guess, is necessarily bad.
Yeah.
But you should know what it is, and to your point, know what you're getting for that. So if you think you're getting $500,000 worth of value, God bless you, should continue doing that. Yeah.
Well, like I have a lot of advisor friends that are Edward Jones advisors, and sometimes they get poo-pooed for having a very low payout, but they get an office, they get staff, they get retreats, they get a pension fund, they get health insurance. And so if we look at just cash, we can say this is a bad deal, but if we look at all the way in, it's actually fairly competitive. Now, it's not the channel I prefer because I like to control all those numbers.
Right.
But I can't just say, oh, they're getting 30 cents on the dollar and I'm getting 90 cents on the dollar, therefore I win. We have to balance both sides.
That's right, and I think that's a fair way to look at it.
Yeah.
One of the things I like talking about is where some of these fees are hidden. And I know we're on the same page with this, which is the non-transaction fee platforms.
Yes, yeah.
How does that work against your TNP, True Net Payout?
Yeah, so there's expenses everywhere. Like, and I use Fidelity, lots of people use Schwab, whoever you use. Like, there's a reason their name's on billboards, right? Like, we always say, like, there's a reason insurance companies have marble floors. Like, they're not going broke. So, like, they're making their money somewhere. Now, when I get on my P&L, it's only going to show the money that I get paid, right? It's not going to show these other fees. So I almost need to keep a second P&L, not the one I use for my taxes, but the one that says I calculated how much money came out, including expense ratios for mutual funds, right? Because if I'm using their NTF funds, those have higher expense ratios. Now that's going to be some work. Like, there's not a spreadsheet where this exists. You're going to have to add it up, do this once a year. But yeah, what's the total amount the client's paying, including expense ratios, how much is landing on my bank account, and what's the difference? And you may say, hey, I like these American funds. It's okay that they have an expense ratio. That's fine, but it has to be an educated decision. We can't just say, oh, it kind of sorts itself out.
It keeps coming back to that, right?
It
We're
does.
not saying one is right or wrong.
Uh-uh.
It's just, and I say this to clients all the time, and I really believe this, there's no such thing necessarily as an absolute right or wrong decision. But there is for sure an informed and uninformed decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's literally, I know you do the same thing. I tell clients or prospective clients, I want to help you make an educated and informed decision. Once I lead with that, I can be transparent with fees. Now, where I do take issue on a right or wrong, I just personally, I do feel it is morally wrong to mislead people on your fees.
Of course.
So if I'm telling someone, hey, you're paying X, but I really know you're paying 2X, I take real moral issue with it. I know you do as well, and in your form, you're very, very transparent. So where I take issue with IBDs is where they let someone believe I'm at a 92% payout and I'm really at a 64% payout, and it's all kind of smoke and mirrors. Like, if you're delivering value, just say, here's my value, here's my fee. Don't say, like, here's my value, and then don't look at the man behind the curtain at the fee.
Right. I think that's super important.
Yeah.
So let's kind of, as we have a couple minutes left here, what would you say is the best thing someone can do to start analyzing what their true net payout is?
Yeah, I always do this on an Excel spreadsheet because I haven't found good software to. Well, here's the best thing. I don't do a shameless plug for you. I would call someone like my friend Chuck here and say, dude, help me do this thing.
Sure.
Right, because the system is designed to be opaque. It's designed to not be transparent.
It is.
The best thing you do, call someone like Chuck and say, great, help me do this. Help me do this. Now, by the way, do this on your personal email account from a personal computer. Don't tip your hand. Your best way is to do this, because unless you've been through this exercise, you don't know where the skeletons are hidden.
All right. Well, I tell you what, that's a great place to put a pin in it, especially with a plug for Sovereign Financial. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here.
Matthew, thank you very much. All right, so that is 2 of 5 today. We've got a lot more content coming for you. I'll be back in another 35, 40 minutes with just that. Thanks for joining us, and Matthew, thanks again.
Thank you.